If you enjoy listening to inspirational stories from people just like us, facing the fear and doing it anyway, then you're in the right place. My name is Claire Hill, and this is the No Rest for the Vivid podcast. Hello everyone, welcome to episode 17. I'm doing a solo episode today, and I'm planning to do a solo episode every other week from now on because I've got a lot to say. If you don't want to listen to it, it's okay because it's going to be short. Of course you want to listen to it. I've had a bit of a nightmare with this podcast this week. I recorded it yesterday, and the recording, I'm not quite sure what the issue was. We're all learning round here. Every mistake that I make, I learn a lesson and I'm able to make it even better. So and then this morning, I'm hoping the sound quality is good, but you can't have it perfect every time, can you? But I am, again, under the duvet. I'm recording a podcast for next week, this afternoon, with a wonderful human called Alice, and she's an energy management expert. And I'm a bit embarrassed about my setup. You know, my head is under a toddler duvet. What we do for quality. And in my next breath, I need to invest in decent podcast stuff. But you know, you start these things and you think, is it even going to work? And then now I'm like knee deep. So I better get investing. So I'm literally going to finish recording this and buy the stuff I need for next week. I was just thinking it's going to come tomorrow, but I've got the podcast today. That's not going to help. Anyway, I digress. Before I get on with the content of this podcast is dedicated to my best friends, Serena, Shama, Zara and Annie, who I lived with at uni. We've been friends for like a long time. I'm just trying to work it out, 18 years or something. And they always listen to this podcast. So this episode is dedicated to you guys. We're going for a sleepover Saturday night, so I'm very excited. But yeah, I wanted this to be dedicated to them. So I am going to read you today a little bit of my ebook, Life Hacks for a Small Business CEO. Now, before I start, the life hacks can be applied to anybody. So if you don't have a business, though this is targeted at small business CEOs, you don't have to have a business to get benefit out of it. So stick with it. It's not going to be a long podcast. I don't know why I feel like I'm begging a friend at the minute, but if you'd like the full copy of the ebook, I'm going to put the link in the show notes, and you can sign up to my mailing list over at Claire Hill Coaching, and yeah, you can get the full lot. I'm launching I'm hosting my Vivid Formula Master lesson again on the 8th of February, and I'm so excited already because the first cohort who did it on the 11th of January, so just over a week ago, one of them has literally doubled her income already, like every day. It's just the momentum and the energy she's got for her business. So I'm really proud of that. And everyone is just on fire, like, just so proud of everyone. Not in a patronising way, obviously, I'm just so happy that I could help them. So I'm running it again straight away, but it's split over 3 sessions this time because I did overrun massively last time, and all of the same stuff is there. Actually, it's going to be a little bit extra. It's going to be a bit about money mindset. And next week I'm launching. Is it launching? I'm just opening up. That's better. I'm opening up spaces for my one-to-one coaching program. So I'll talk a bit about that next week. But I'm doing lives over on Instagram every Monday, Wednesday and Friday over on Claire Hill Coaching. Oh, and one more bit of news. My Valentine's collection is out on Vivid Wire and I bloody love it. I don't know how I did it really. Well, I do know how I did it, but I made these rosebuds and I had the image in my head and I was panicking that I might not be able to get the image into real life. But I managed it. I'm so pleased with my rosebuds. So they're like a 3D sculpture. And then we've got some like love heart sweets. Oh, love it. Anyway, I'm going to get on because, you've got stuff to do, or you might be doing stuff as you're listening to this. So I'm going to read the introduction to the ebook and the first chapter. Let me know what you think when you get to read it. Okay. If you want things to change, first you have to change you. And for those of you with little ones, you might know that quote from the book, The Lion Inside by Rachel Bright. And that's true. If you want your life and things around you to change, or your habits, you first need to change you. Not in a massive way, but in a, habits, feel brave, embrace fear. The rest of the books tells you anyway. So I shall begin. Are you sitting comfortably or standing comfortably, whatever you're doing? This short ebook will tell you some of the life hacks I use to make myself the best CEO for me and my small business. Although if you don't run a small business, you will still find a lot of value here. Being your own small business CEO means you must be a generator of ideas, energy, motivation, and momentum, especially if you are a single-handed, independent small business. It needs to be created for a continuous stream of CEO warrior energy. But what is warrior energy? Warrior energy is feeling motivated to get up and get shit done, feeling driven to overcome negative thoughts and design the life of your dreams, feeling passionate about your products and the service you give your customers and clients, the confidence in every action you take because each one drives you and your business forward. Feeling magic because of your creative talent and ability to make joy for your customers and clients. Having courage when you embrace fear and do it anyway. Knowing who you are, what you stand for, where you're going, and not giving a fluff what people think. And feeling on top of the freaking world because you are so grateful that with every twist and turn so far, it's led you to this place where you are right now, where you are supposed to be. Remember, it takes the same amount of energy to be a warrior as it does a warrior. Which one will you choose? I believe in magic. I am obsessed with creative business, service and product based. All creativity is magic and can bring joy to not only yourself, but to others too. Many times I've brought to life a vision in my head and have been quite shocked at my own talent. And yes, it is perfectly acceptable to call yourself talented. Shout it out. I have talent. If you don't adore your own work, who will? Talent only gets you so far though. And this ebook has been written to give you tips, tricks, and life hacks of how to create more energy and more productivity. My hard work and drive come from the heart, but I am only human and I need to have systems in place for my body to run, for my body and mind to run as efficiently as I need them to. If you have stumbled across me and have no idea of my story, I have written a short version of it, which is at the end. So, my life hacks. I've split them into chapters with a short task at the end, designed to give momentum in establishing each one into your small life. My favourite small business CEO life hacks are the 1% factor life hack, the don't snooze the alarm life hack, the how to focus efficiently life hack, the having a brighter mindset life hack, and how to not give a fluff what people think life hack. Chapter 1, the 1% factor life hack. The 1% factor is one of my ultimate life hacks. I use it to trick my brain out of overwhelm and procrastination into action and productivity. It is adapted from Kara Lowenthal's theory of the infinite 1%. Kara describes the infinite 1% as the fact that starting something takes more energy than when you're in the middle of the task. It also fits with Newton's law of motion, that something that is at rest stays at rest, and if something is in motion, it continues in motion. It takes more energy to begin a task and achieve 1% of it compared to moving from 10 to 30% complete. Have you ever taken ages to begin something, for example, sorting your wardrobe out? As soon as you start, you can't stop yourself. Without noticing, 3 hours or more have whizzed past and you have a tidy and organised wardrobe to be proud of. You didn't notice those 3 hours go past, but you did feel that first 2 minutes when you stood staring at the wardrobe, muttering over and over again, Let's get this shit done. Every task in our human world has a 1% factor, the very single tiptoe step into motion that overrides the resistance to start. Therefore, if we know what that 1% factor is before we begin, can we shove that procrastination out of the way sooner? If I feel I'm procrastinating, I ask myself two things. Number one, am I going to feel more productive and better about my day if I start getting on with this job? And what is the 1% factor? When I plan strategy for my business, every goal has a 1% factor attached to it that helps me to get going when I feel resistance. If I've already planned what that 1% factor is, I remove the energy needed to break down the task into chunks. For example, I need to plan my content for the next month. The 1% factor would be put a timer on for 5 minutes to write down my purpose for content that month, and then 5 ways I can achieve that. When the timer goes off, I feel motivated to plan images to use and begin to create the skeleton captions. Therefore, I become productive. I procrastinate all the time, and I'm just so know I do all the time. Daily battle. But by applying the 1% factor, I reduce its detrimental impact on my potentially very productive day. I have found that the 1% factor plays an important part in achieving the goals we dream of because it helps us to embrace the fear associated with them. In summary, when you feel procrastination creeping in, decide what is 1% of that job. If you're not sure, always resort to putting a timer on for 2 minutes and then see how you feel afterwards. We can all do 2 minutes of something, can't we? So, success task. Set yourself a goal. It could be something trivial like washing up or a big task like your tax return. Decide what 1% of that task would be. 2 minutes of work, washing up a cup, plugging a Hoover in. Do the 1% and then assess how you feel after completing the 1%. Do you feel that you could do more? Do you feel you have momentum? Do you feel lighter because you have started it? Apply the 1% factor to any task that you are avoiding or procrastinating over. End of chapter 1. Thanks for joining me with my audiobook or listening to it. I know the 1% factor is very successful because of my husband. So, say, for example, he's had a really terrible, stressful day, which he does sometimes because he works for the local authority in the homeless strategy sector or that homeless strategy team. So it can be quite frustrating sometimes. If he is working and he comes in and it's like his turn to cook dinner or his turn to put Jackson to bed or whatever, it's all 50-50 in this house. And he's like, oh, I'm so tired. I just go 1% factor. And then in his head, he's just like, yeah, I'm just going to just move towards the kitchen, or I'm just going to get a chopping board out, or, you know, and we can trick ourselves into doing more than our brain wants us to. And at the end, I always think about my future self when I do this, you know, the future Claire. It's the same as like tidying my office. I do this in my stories. At the end of the day, I cannot be asked to tidy my office. I tell you now, it's a right state right now because I've just been trying to build a bloody podcast station with a duvet and some cardboard. Ugh. Anyway, at the end of each day, I'm like, no, I'm going to tidy my office and I just have to do one thing. Normally, it's putting my tools away or shutting down my laptop. That's normally like a 1% factor for me. And then I sort of just move into the rest of the tidy up. And the next day, I am so pleased with myself because I'm walking in to a tidy, clean space where I can start a fresh day. And that's the kind of thing that sets you up for a day full of warrior energy. Same as going for a walk. Sometimes I cannot be asked to go for a walk. I really can't. I want to just get in the car, but I don't. And all I need to do is just put my shoes on. Oh, exercise. This is the thing, you trick. 1% factor of getting up in the morning and moving. That's another thing that I'm trying to do every morning. I have all of the clothes I need to put on at the end of the bed. and I just put one thing on, whether that's like a legging, a trouser, or one sock, and then my body just starts dressing itself. It's honestly, it's a brilliant hack. 1% factor hack. Brilliant. So if you want the full copy of this book, where you can hear me read me talking about everything else, all my other life hacks that can help you and your small business, then sign up to my mailing list. The link is in the show notes and you can download it from there. It's free. I'm really proud of it. I am writing another book which I'm working on, and I want it ready soon. I will tell you when it's almost ready. I might share with you a little bit of it, what I've written so far. But it's basically going to be like a handbook for small business owners, in a way, like an encyclopedia of what do you do if. That's the premise. So I'm a third of the way through, so watch this space. And this ebook was a 1% factor, because I was so overwhelmed by the thought of actually finishing writing a whole book. Somebody suggested, why don't you write an ebook and then you've done 1% of it? So now I've written a book and now I'm not scared. Such a good hack. Anyway, have a wonderful week. Enjoy your Thursday or Friday or whatever day of the week you're listening to this. Take care of yourselves and see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to the No Rest for the Billy podcast, written, produced and hosted by Claire Hill, and music has been composed by my brother Phil Vidler.